Do you really like one of your close friends, but you're worried that if you start dating, you might ruin the friendship, and you're really just not sure what to do? That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Hey everybody, I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com, a place where we apply the Bible to your life. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about a friendship that already exists between a Christian guy and a Christian girl. And one of you maybe feels like there's chemistry, you're not sure what the other person's thinking, you're just in that no man's land right now and you're really not sure what to do. I'm going to give you 9 tips in this video. I've broken this teaching up into 3 sections. When should you start dating your Christian friend? Why should you start dating your friend? And how can you get into this dating relationship if you do feel led to do this? Also, on a side note, I have another video. If you're someone who's not friends with someone that you like, but you would like to become friends with them, I have a whole nother separate video on that topic, which I'll link to in the description below. So the first section I'd like to talk about here is when should you start dating your Christian friend. Point 1 is that you should start dating your Christian friend or start thinking about dating him or her when you really like this person and your feelings aren't going away. That might sound a little bit obvious, but I say that because, I'm not against Christians just going out on a date. Like, I don't hold to the strict courting model where you have to be friends for a long period of time before entering into a dating relationship. I hold the belief that if you're in a season of maturity as a Christian where you are able to get married if the right person came along, then I don't see any reason why it's not wrong, that it would be wrong to just go on a casual date with somebody. My caution when dealing with a friend, though, is that you should think about it a lot more and take it a lot more seriously, because the consequences are higher if it doesn't work out. So if you're just having like fluttering feelings here and there, but thinking, I'm not really sure if I like him or her, I would not proceed in this dating relationship, because again, a friendship's at stake and you don't want to mess that up for no reason. But if you really do like this person and your feelings just aren't going away, then that might be a good sign. It's time to start considering entering into a new dating relationship with this person. Number 2, you should consider dating your Christian friend when you are prepared to change that friendship forever. I think that it is really pretty much impossible to enter into like a romantic season with someone or to express romantic interest in that person and then for the relationship to go back to exactly the same way it was before you express those feelings. Now, I'm not saying you will for sure ruin that friendship or that you will hate each other or that you can never hang out again or that it will always be the most awkward thing in the world. I'm not saying that at all. It's not that extreme, but I do believe it is a lot harder to go back rather than it is to go forward in a relationship. Once you cross that friendship line and you move into another like romantic area, even if you don't actually date, but one of you expresses interest in the other person, again, it's just relationally much harder to go back. Now, this might sound like a red flag, like I'm telling you to stop, but I'm actually not saying that. I'm just saying you should be prepared for that result if it doesn't work out. You just have to prepare your heart and your mind for that. If you don't care enough about a dating possibility with that person to lose the friendship, then I would say, okay, it sounds like you value friendship more. But as I'll talk about in a few points later in this video, I think it's sometimes a good risk to take. Sometimes the friendship really is coming to an end, or it's just time for it to move on into another season. So it's just something that you have to weigh through. Number 3 is the most important point in this section about when you should consider dating a Christian friend. You should consider dating your Christian friend when you know you've taken your friendship to the maximum level of it being healthy. So one principle that you've probably heard on this channel if you watch these videos regularly is that I believe, relationships in the Bible are always connected to intimacy and commitment in an equal way. In other words, your intimacy and your commitment level should always be coherent with one another. So in the context of this question about dating or not dating a Christian friend, you should probably start entering into a dating relationship if your intimacy is getting really high, like not physical intimacy. That's kind of a given, like you shouldn't be doing that if you're just friends. But I'm talking about like emotional intimacy, connection, like talking, spending all this time together. If your relationship and intimacy is not at level with your commitment level because you're just in friendship still, then I think it's time for you guys to have an honest conversation and realize something needs to happen because this isn't healthy long term. So one of two things needs to happen if you're at that point. You need to either move forward and have a greater commitment towards one another in a dating relationship, or if you don't feel led to do that, you need to take a step back and just like back off from each other a little bit, because right now you're in the no man's land, which is you have a intimacy with this person, but you're not dating, but you're probably so close to this person that you're completely blocking every other suitor or possibility of dating somebody else. So you're not in a relationship, but you're basically hindering yourself from ever entering into a relationship because you're in this no man's land with this other person. So long story short, you should start dating when you realize your friendship has gone as far as it should go in a healthy way. I knew it was time for my wife and I to leave our friendship phase and move into a dating phase, because I could tell our friendship was just getting too much for our intimacy level. We had served each other to the best of our ability in our friendship. That's another good way to look at it. Have you done everything you can do in friendship in a healthy way? If you've maxed out the friendship, it's probably time to start thinking about dating. So now we're going to move into the second section of this video, which is why should you date your Christian friend? This section is really about the inner motives that would be helpful to have as a Christian if you're going to consider dating a good friend. So point 4, you should consider dating a Christian friend if you genuinely believe that they will make a great Christian spouse one day and not just an enjoyable companion. One of the downsides to having romantic feelings for a guy friend or a girlfriend that you have a really good friendship with, is that sometimes that friendship can blind our eyes to accurately assessing that person for their walk with God, and if they genuinely are mature enough to be in a good, solid Christian relationship. When you get into a Christian marriage, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, highs and lows. You're going to go through all different kinds of seasons of life. And that friendship and enjoyment isn't enough to keep you guys together and to keep you having a healthy relationship. A friendship's really good. It's really important. But ultimately, your connection to God and your commitment to Him is going to be what causes you to show respect and love and commitment even when things get difficult in the relationship. It says in 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33, it says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." So even if you have a great friendship, you guys click, you guys have so much fun, you're laughing all the time, but they're not following the Lord, they're not really mature enough to handle a Christian marriage one day, then I would not date that person. You should be assessing people first off based upon their commitment to Christ and to living according to His Word, not just based upon your compatibility. So point 5 is that you should consider dating a Christian friend because friendship really is a great foundation to romance and to a Christian marriage. As I just mentioned in the point before, it's not the most important thing. Your connection to God is more important, but it is genuinely a healthy factor to show that you really enjoy one another and that you have things in common, that you're on the same trajectory in life, that you see things in a similar way. Like, those are really great factors if you can marry somebody who you're also great friends with. So point 6 is the most important point, maybe in this whole video, but definitely in this section about why you should consider dating a friend. And it's this: a guy and a girl friendship is not built to last no matter what. So like I mentioned earlier in this video, I think it was point 2, is that you should really weigh through this whole idea, because romance will change the friendship forever. But here's another point. Any romance that is in either of your lives will change your friendship. Like, if one of you starts dating somebody, your friendship is going to change because it's a guy and girl friendship. And especially when one of you ends up getting married, your friendship will change. Even if you think, oh no, we'll be friends, like, I'm telling you, it will change forever. And it should change, because when you have a committed relationship with somebody else, you should not be hanging out with single guys or girls like you don't have a commitment to somebody. If you're dating or you're single, I don't have a problem with spending one-on-one time with people of the opposite sex if you're both mature and you're doing it in a healthy, like, pure way. But when you're married or when you have a commitment to somebody in a dating relationship, you need to be extremely cautious in this area. For one, you're just exposing yourself to unnecessary temptation. But even if you're like totally secure and you just think that nothing could ever happen and you're just friends with this person, the perception of it definitely sends the wrong message. And again, it just exposes yourself to too many problems relationally. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because you should consider dating that friend of the opposite sex before it's too late. Because again, if you're worried about ruining that friendship, like, you genuinely might ruin it, or it might just get awkward and it might never be the same. Let's just say it never works out. But again, that's gonna happen anyway. You might just be speeding it up. So wouldn't you rather take the risk and see if there's something more that could be there, rather than just waiting around and wondering? And again, like I said, it's gonna change anyway. So in summary of this point, you should consider dating a good friend, because guy and girl friendships are not built to last. They are not long term in most instances, because most people end up finding somebody. One of you two is eventually going to start dating someone and probably get married. And again, that's going to change your friendship. 2 Timothy 2 verse 22 says, "So flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart." If you have a good friend who has a pure heart, you should consider pursuing the Lord with that person in a greater way in a Christian relationship. So now let's talk about the last section of how you can go about doing this. How can you move from friendship into dating a good friend of the opposite sex? Point 7 is not a must. You don't have to do this one, but I think it's probably wise. It's that you should talk to other people who know you both. Like, talk to some other friends who have witnessed you guys interacting as friends, and ask them what their thoughts about you being together in a romantic relationship or a dating relationship. The reason I say that is because, again, as I've been mentioning out throughout this video, there are greater risks, and you might lose a friendship. And so my point is, don't do it if it's just you have no chance. Like, if this other person likes somebody else, all your friends know that, or maybe you're just not seeing it accurately, and they're just like, dude, no, like, this girl does not like you, or this guy does not like you, you're just gonna make it weird, then you don't have to listen to them. I don't think it's wrong to take a chance and just go for it, so but if you can spare yourself the awkwardness and there's no point to go about ruining a friendship, then I think you should probably hold off. And sometimes friends can help you gauge this accurately. And it's also helpful when they confirm your feelings. They're like, duh, like, you guys obviously like each other. Just go for it. Number 8 in this section of how you can move from friendship into dating is eventually you're going to have a DTR talk, which is a define the relationship talk. I'm going to leave a link for a video I did on that whole topic. How to have a DTR talk, when you should do it, what you should say. I did a whole video on that. So I'll leave a link in the description below. But in essence, a DTR talk has to happen anytime there's a movement in phases within a relationship. If you're going from friends to dating, there has to be a conversation that redefines your relationship. Or if you're going to go from dating to engagement, again, there has to be a conversation about what's going on. I mean, it's kind of almost like Christian vows. When you're having your vows and you're engaged and then you're transitioning into marriage, those vows are almost like the ultimate DTR talk. Okay, like this is what we're going to do. Sickness and in health, for richer or poor, we're in this together. So in short, anytime you need to transition within a relationship, you have to have a DTR talk. And point 9 is that when you finally talk about your feelings to your friend, and however you do it, whenever you reveal those feelings to him or her, give that person time. Like, you've been thinking about this for a while and you might catch them off guard. So prepare your heart for them not having an instant answer, and let them know, hey, like, I've been praying about this for a while. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just felt like I needed to tell you this. I want to give you the same time that I've had. And that's respectful to do. When I had that talk with my wife when we were transitioning from friendship to dating, and I finally laid it out there, and I was like, hey, take all the time you need. Like, I have been praying about this. And she was like, I don't need time. Like, I'm good. I want to date. Let's go do this. And I was like, you don't want to pray about it? She's like, well, I already have prayed about it. She already was thinking about it too, and she already knew, like, if I asked her, she would say yes, because she had thought about it and prayed about it. So maybe it'll happen like that for you, but maybe it won't. So prepare yourself for either one. Well, like I said, I'm going to leave some other videos that relate to this topic in the description below. So if you want to keep learning about this and you enjoyed this topic, I would really encourage you to watch some of those videos so you can keep understanding what's a wise approach. Well, I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we're making videos like this every single week. I put out multiple videos every week, and really we talk a lot about relationships, Christian singleness, how to find contentment in God no matter what's going on in your life. Really, any question that you might have, I try to answer it through a biblical viewpoint. So if that's something that's interesting to you, don't miss out. Make sure you join this growing community by hitting that subscribe button. Well, thanks for watching, and God bless.